Hello everybody, welcome. So basically, happy first day of autumn for you all for Monday of September 22nd. So this is going to be for the Monday reading for this whole entire Monday. And I know that it's going to be a very good reading for all of you. Please get a like, please comment if you want, but this is how it goes. So, for instance, we're going to figure out what's happening in this autumn situation, whether we want to know what's going on through this whole entire day. By the way, how this is, in theoretical speaking, that is the way how it works, right? This is the way how it is. And, we have to understand the abilities from how we can do it in our own perspective, right? That's all we can do. But in our own regulations of how we're going to be doing it in that way, we have to believe that we're going to have a good autumn or a good season or the way how this is, or that's how it goes, and it's the way it's going to be. So I'm not going to complain. Like, I'm not going to do that, no. But the way how this is, I wanted to try to let you all know what's going on. So this is going to be a tarot card reading. We're going to figure out what's happening in this situation. Then the way how this is going to identify of what's going on in this situation, right? So we have to believe that. So this is why it happens, and this is the way it seems to be, and knowing that this can be very interesting indeed of how wild it is. It's the way it seems to be, right? So this is how it goes. So this is the way it kind of is at the moment, and this is the way it is, and we have to understand that to do what we can, to understand what it takes. This is the way it kind of goes in that way, and we have to know what it is in that way. Because that's how it kind of goes in that way. So we have to understand that the way how this is, we have to do what we can to monitor our own well-being, and this is the way it seems to be in that way, right? That's just how it kind of concludes. But this is how it goes. So here we go. So in this reading, we have basically the Fool card. There's change. 8 Pentacles over there's perfection. Ace of Cups over there's like romance, prosperity, romance. 8 Wands reverse, there's no speed. 7 Pentacles reverse, you already have a career, that's how it goes. World's up right there is completion, and the Emperor is up right there is structure. So basically how it is in that way, because this is how it goes, right? We have to believe in everything else in this way, because we have to have this way of having to understand that, right? That's how it goes. So this is what's going to be happening. So I'm going to do a 3-card reading between the 8 Pentacles and this Fool card. So let's see. 2 Wands is over. There's planning. The King of Swords over. There's knowledge. 9 Cups reverse. There's no romance. That's how it goes. So you might be dealing with another Gemini, Aquarius. You might be dealing with another Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. That's how it goes, right? So I'm going to clarify this 9 Cups here. The Queen of Swords reverse, there's no independence. The reverse, there's no obsessions. The 4 of Cups, sorry, there's a distraction. Yeah, because you want a distraction, right? That's how it goes. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be. So you might be overall dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio in that way. And you think, alright, this seems to be very interesting. I already know what to do. But this is how it goes. You're trying to have your own precise of knowing what to do. And that's how it goes, right? You have to be who you are, and you have to be authentic. You have to believe in whatever it is. Because that's how it goes. You have to stand your own point. You have to believe it. You have to acknowledge what you're doing in that way, because you have to support that. You have to know what it is, and you have to understand that, because there are rules that are in place, and you have to understand that. If you want a distraction, that's how it goes, but it's your choice, right? That's the way it's going to be. What's this 10 Pentacles about? Page of Cups, sorry, there's loyalty. Lovers reverse, there's no decisions. The 3 of Cups, sorry, there's excitement. Obviously that is, because this is how it goes. You might be in a third party, maybe you're not, but this is how it goes. If you want to have loyalty, the way of how it goes, you're trying to understand that. You're trying to not put a pawn of anybody in this situation, but whether you want loyalty or excitement or everything that you want to do, that's how it goes, right? So you're trying to understand that. You're not playing mind games here. You're not trying to do that. But the way of this is, you're trying to perceive what you're doing in that way. That's how it goes, right? So you have to understand that you have to believe in what is and what not, but you understand that, right? That's how it goes. And you have to believe in order to do that, right? That's just how it goes. And you have to have your own perfection of knowing what to do, right? That's how it goes. This is Ace of Cups and this Emperor. I'm going to clarify. Two of Pentacles here is you're unbalanced. The Three of Wands Tower, there's communication. Then the Six of Pentacles here is there's no kindness, right? So you're being unkind. I don't know why, but you know, this is how it goes. If you want communication, you have to pay attention, right? That's how it goes. If Two of Pentacles here is there's basically, you know, you're not basically saying that, oh, I'm balanced here. No, it's out of control. You know, that's how it goes. And when you do it, it's like, well, this is not going to end well. No. But necessarily, that's how it goes in that way, right? You're trying to understand that, no matter how it goes, right? What's happening with this World card and this Eight of Wands here? Four of Pentacles reversed, for the Two of Cups upright, for the Three of Pentacles reversed, for the Knight of Swords upright. Knight of Swords upright. So, there is drama here in that way, and that's how it goes. The Two of Cups does represent romance and relationships, friendships, all above. That's how it goes. But there is the way that when you have communication, you pay attention to what you're going to be doing. You know, that's how it goes. And this is how it is. You have to have your own basic needs, what you're doing in that way, because you're trying to understand that. You're trying to accept what you want, you know, daily, right? This is like almost a daily routine, but you understand what it is. So I'm going to clarify. I'm going to do one card to clarify for each. So I'm going to do one on the left side here. So the Strength out of yours, there's no bravery. What's over here then? The Empress right, there's no nourishment. Alright, what's on the right side? The Tower of yours, there's no transformation. And then the Wheel of Fortune yours, there's bad luck. Alright, so that's a good start. But the way how this is, I'm going to clarify. I'm going to clarify this Strength card here. The Tower of yours, there's no transformation. The Temperance yours, there's no healing. The Hierophant is upright, there's guidance. Yeah, because you want to be guided, right? That's how it goes. And when you do it, in theory, it's based on that. It's based on how you're doing in that way, because you have to make your own choice. You know, that's how it goes. And when there are things you must learn first in order to do that, that's the way it goes, right? You have to believe in order to do that. That's the way it happens. And nowadays, you have to stand what you want, what you get, but you have to proceed to have guidance. You know, that's how it goes. Guidance is very good, but you understand what it seems to be in that way. What's this Empress card about? The Strength card of yours, there's no bravery. Chariot upright, there's progress. Just for yours, you're not telling the truth, right? So you're lying about something. You're lying because things are not going as planned, right? Because you're saying, well, with me, I can't do it anymore, I quit. But when you're lying about something and you're being scared, you're doing that, right? Out of your own temptation of knowing what to do, right? That's how it goes. So it's like you're having a standoff, but you're not, you know? So the way how this is, you have to understand that. You have to have your own priorities straight. You know, that's how it goes in that way. What's this Tarot card about? The Overeaters, there's no obsessions. The Fool card is upright, there's change. The Magician upright, there's skill. Yeah, because that's how it goes. And when you have Fool, you have the change, right? Everything's changing, right? So you understand what you want, but that's how it goes in that way. It's like, okay, this seems to be very interesting, alright, know what to do, because you're trying to have your own skill. You're trying to have your own, how you're doing in that way, because that's how it goes. So they, alright, this seems to be happening, alright, but this is how it goes in that way. It's like, you know what to do, but you have to face of your own abilities for knowing what to do in that way, right? This is how it is, and there are things they need to learn in order to do that. That's how it goes. What's this Wheel of Fortune about? The Hangman is alright, there's restrictions. The High Priestess already, there's an voice. Yeah, because you're trying to use your own way about having restrictions, because you're being restricted, because things are not going as planned. You know, that's how it goes. And in theory, you have that basic, you know, acknowledgement about you being acknowledged, you being how things are, right? That's how it goes. So you're not having your own pity party, but you know, this is how it is, right? Because you're acting like that. That's how it goes. What's the middle of this situation, please? The Queen of Cups is alright, there's empathy. Yeah, because there's two sides of the story. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense, you know. You decide. But the way how this is, if you are basically advancing, or if you are basically not paying attention to Scorpio, or you basically paying attention to other zodiac signs, whatever it is, you have to understand what you want in that way, right? If you want support, if you want things to be happening all at once, that's how it goes, right? This is how it is. And when you do it, that's the way how it goes in that way. So let me clarify this Hangman, or this Hierophant, I mean. The King Cups over, there's support. Empress reverse, there's no nourishment. And the Ten of Swords reverse, there's no conclusions. Ten of reverse, there's no healing. Four of Wands reverse, there's no celebration. We have Four Star, you're going to have good luck. Obviously that it is. So if you want to have support, you're going to do that, right? That's how it goes. And when you do it, that's basically, if you're going to have good luck, you pay attention to what you're doing in that way, right? That's how it goes. And in theory, you have that ability to know what's right and what's wrong in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's this, between this Justice and this Chariot card? Hierophant is upright, there's guidance. Hermit is upright, there's solitude. And 9 of Wands, sorry, there's fear. Exactly, there's fear here, but you want to have a soulmate and you want guidance. That's how it goes, right? So, in theory, you have that based on what you're about knowing to do, and you're trying to control what your emotions are, control how your feelings are, because that's how it goes. If you want to do it, that's how it goes. You're not competing. You're not the way how this is. But the way how this is, you have to understand that. That's how it goes. What's between the Magician card? 2 Wands here, there's no planning. 10 Wands here, there's no burdens. Queen Cups over, there's empathy. Yeah, because there's two sides to the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense, you know. But the way how this is, you have to understand that. You're trying to have your own ways about knowing what to do. So you might be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You might deal with another Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. That's the way it goes in that way. What's this High Priestess about? Seven of Swords already, you're feeling with silence. Six of Swords here, there's no movement. And the Two of Cups are, there's relationships. Obviously there is. Because in that society, you need to understand about how you're going to do it in that way. And you think, okay, this is going to be happening all at once. Alright, this is how it goes, right? So, in theory, it's based on that, right? So let's see what's this Wheel of Fortune about. Tarot reverse is reversed. There's no transformation. Sun curse over, there's positivity. Obviously, that is in that way, because that's how it goes. What's between this 9 of Wands and this Hierophant? Justice over, you're not telling the truth. Yeah, interesting. What's this 2 of Wands to this Queen of Cups here? Where is over, there's completion, right? What's this 2 of Cups over here? The Lover's here, there's no decisions. Yeah, that's true. Okay. And let's see what's happening. So I'm going to clarify. I'm going to clarify this Tower moment. And we'll clarify this. The Sun carry yours, there's negativity. Haman is upright, there's restrictions. Yeah, because you're being restricted. Yeah. So you're in this cycle between negative and positive at the way of how it goes in that way. This is just as a card about. Devil is upright, there's obsessions. Hermit is upright, there's solitude. Yeah, because you're looking for a soulmate. And I'll say you're having basically violence, because you might be saying bad language. Maybe you decide about that, you probably deserve it. But the way how it goes, right? This is like a bad outcome. But this is how it goes in that way. It's like, oh well, this is not going to end well. No, it's not. But things are be happening all at once. What's this World card about? The Star is upright, there's inspiration. The Emperor is upright, there's structure. Obviously that is, because you want inspiration, you want structure, you know, you want all above. You know, that's how it goes. So you're trying to understand that when you're picturing A, B, and C, you want everything to happen all at once. What is this Lover's card about? The Moon reverse, there's misrotations. Full reverse, there's no change. The Death card reverse, there's no endings. The Hierophant is upright, there's guidance. Obviously, there is guidance in this situation, no matter how you're doing it, but this is how it is, you know. So the way this is the way it happens, and this is how it kind of is in one way. So let's see what the universe is saying. So I'm going to go from the middle to left, middle to right. 2 Wands reverse, there's no planning. Ten Pentacles is upright, there's your vision, like your career. 10 Cups reverse, there's no delusion. 10 Cups reverse, there's no support. 8 Pentacles reverse, there's no perfection. 10 Cups are, there's completion, yeah, because everything's completed, right? That's how it goes. So it's like, okay, there's things going to be happening. Alright, this is how it goes in that way, because this is how it is. So what this 2 Wands, this 10 Wands here, all the way to over here. Let's see. Empress here, there's no nourishment. Page of Wands here, there's no invention. Magicians are right, there's skill. Obviously that is, because that's the way it seems to be. What's between this Empress card and this Page of Wands here? Ten of Swords over there. You're feeling deceit. Yeah, because things are not going as planned. You know, things are not going your way. You might be dealing with an Pisces, Gemini or Aquarius. You might deal with an Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. You know, that's how it goes in that way. Because you have to acknowledge about what's happening in that way. What's on the right side, please? Queen of Wands, sorry, there's charisma. Six of Swords, sorry, there's movement. Three of Wands, reverse, there's no communication whatsoever, right? Because you're not communicating. High Priestess, sorry, there's no voice. Three of Pentacles, sorry, there's excitement. Eight of Swords, there's no anxiety. Six of Pentacles, sorry, there's kindness. Yeah, because you're in between unkindness or kindness, whatever it is in that way, because you have to do that. What's in this situation? Temperance, sorry, there's healing. Yeah, because, you know, you're trying to prove your own point. You're trying to improve of what it is. So, you know, this is how it goes, right? This is the way it seems to be. But, you know, overall, in this whole entire situation, no matter how it is, this is the way it seems to be, right? This is how it goes. So, you know, before I let you go, try to pay attention about the whole entire of this reading. Try to figure out about how you can do it in the way how this is, because there's a way about how you can do it in that way, and you're trying to have your own physical reality. You're trying to get a hold of what you're going to be doing in that way, and you think that, oh, everything's perfect, everything's fine, everything's going to be all good. Yes, but necessarily you need to understand that you need to control your emotions, your feelings, your emojis, whatever it is inside you, because healing is the best option there is, right? And it happens for a reason, right? So you have to believe. In order to do that, you have to understand that you're not trying to make any sacrifices. You're not trying to do that, but you know, you have to understand that, right? So you have to do exactly what it is in that way, and that's how it seems to be. So I hope you all like this video. Please understand this. Please give a like, please a comment if you want. But the way how this is the way how it goes. So this is the way it seems to be. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, Troll, and I'll see you next time when I do, and that's how it goes. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now. Really, thank you, and thanks, and